everyone, and welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. My name is Lydia Sandra, but you can call me Sandy. My friends call me Pransky. I'm a medical scientist, and I'm excited to be here.
Okone. Your name is Okone.
I decided to use my father's name for
interesting.
very personal reasons.
Interesting. And the Pransky thing, that's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Pransky.
Pransky Bay.
Pransky Bay.
Okay. Hi, my name is Wilfred Majaliwa. I'm a software developer / engineer. Congolese. Very introverted. And other things that will come up eventually. Oh, reader, gamer. Oh, I love to play the piano. Yeah.
Are you sure you are an introvert?
Yeah, I am very introverted by the way. I am. I think, like you said, when the situation is right, like I can, try to be extroverted.
No, really.
Yeah. I'm comfortable if it's me, you, and maybe some other person. That is kind of the ideal situation for me to like operate Bulungi. But if it's more than 3 people, then I tend to retreat into my own shell, nembele in my own corner somewhere. Usually, like it's ideal if it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Or if it's like maximum 3 people.
Okay.
Like, but if it's more, then I have to like my energy is drained. Like
What if it's a bunch of more than 3 that are just giving you the right temperatures?
More than 3?
Yeah.
Like so, more than 3.
Yeah, there are people who are really charming and they could just bring it out.
I try, I think. Like, for example, during the book club meetings we have, now there is that familiarity we have built that we have. So, yeah.
Speaking of familiarity, I think that's a lie.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when there are people that have so far arrived, you are a bit chatty and eventually you fade. It's like you vanish. And yet you could be saying more. I believe you could be saying more. Your mind, your looks, just keep...
I look like I have a lot of things on my mind.
You look like you have a lot to say, but then you're just quiet.
Yeah, I choose to be quiet. I like very personal things. That's why I'm more active when it's just me and some other person, because then I can get personal, witchy. But if it's more than, then I tend to just keep quiet. Like, nobody can, you carry the conversation. Then I chime in once in a while.
Actually, so yes. I did notice that you are a personal person. Yes, I did. Because the few times we've met, and maybe we're just 2 or 3, the conversation is there, and you're telling us stuff, like deep stuff about you. And then when everyone else arrives, you're just like, you get into some shell. But anyway, for me, that's something that I liked about you. And I think it prompted me to be like, okay, this guy. Quiet people, there's a way they make me think like, I need to probe. There's something more. And I feel like you're not...
Me? Naughty? Well, define naughty.
Naughty with your looks, with your words.
I kind of have no filter, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I give off that impression.
Okay. But the most surprising thing is the will behind the computer and the physical will seem to be 2 different people, and you seem to have so many ideas, so much to write about when you're behind the computer in a group of many people. For instance, like in our book club book.
I think it's the same person, just different manifestations. Because when you're alone on a PC, you're going to keep your thoughts to yourself most of the time. And unless if it's too much, then I have to write about it. I open my blog and just write it down if it's too much. Or I resort to my status updates, like Kaskayokas. Yeah, in person. Still the same person, I believe. Unless, of course, that happens when like it's a crowd of people. Then, of course, I retreat and just keep quiet. But I'm the same person, like private and one-on-one with any other person. Like nothing changes.
Okay. Sometimes I also find myself in between introversion and extroversion. But I think I'm also lately an introvert.
Lately? What is Wako?
And I think my introversion is circumstantial of late. I'm just trying to like pull back and see how that goes. But sometimes I find it lonely, I think. I guess maybe I love to talk. Yeah, which makes me wonder why we ended up together.
I don't know. I don't know, by the way. Like, it's just sort of happened. I don't know. Maybe there's some chemistry somewhere.
Did you feel it the first time you met me?
Let me see. I have to like now remember when we first met, because when we first met, it was you and Mahad.
Like, me, Mahad, the other side, and
then me and Frida.
Yeah. Actually, you guys had already arrived, and I think me and Mahad arrived at about almost the same time.
It's hard to tell then. It was hard to tell then, or it's hard to tell now. Whatever. I think the first time we sat next to each other, then that's when I was like, this one. Because the other side was, you were too far away and new, because there were other new people.
Yeah, there's so many new people. And
so you tell us how we met. If you tell the viewers how we met, because tell them.
Well, we met through a book club, but I think that book club was we first met like virtually, and what really triggered me to come for the first meeting that we had was the way you were writing, like the way you had group. So many opinions in the group about so many things, like, and for me the catchy one was about relationships, and I'm like, yo, damn, because at first I thought when I saw your name, like your WhatsApp, I thought, it's a girl. Then when you started writing all these things, I was like, this can't be a girl. She's not on our side. Like, which girl is on the guy's side? I mean, you're supposed to gang up and, be team girl. But anyway, I kept on telling myself, there are people I'm looking forward to seeing, and I need to see this business. I was so surprised. Like, I was just surprised to find a very quiet human being.
Yeah, my mind is very loud, but in person,
like literally, do you realize that you didn't speak for a whole 2 hours?
I did not. I was quiet the entire time.
Yes, you said hi, and then our friend Mahad kept on jazzing.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, everyone else had said a word, unlike you.
Mahad was driving the conversation. Yeah, and there was enough people to, of course, reply. Katinzi. I was just there, like, let me just observe.
But then on the second meeting, I was quite impressed. Actually, you blew my mind. Like, you talked, like, we had those close conversations, and like I got to know stuff about you. And then in my mind, I was like, okay, he actually talks, and he has very nice things. But then I noticed that the entire time you were quiet, but you just kept on saying, I wish we had recorded this. I wish we had recorded this. So for me, that's where this entire idea like popped into my mind, and I'm like, okay, I've always wanted to do something like this, so this should be the person to do it with.
So, what about my relationship opinions sparked your interest?
Oh, your relationship opinions.
Hey.
I wanted to, because first I was confused whether you're a he or a she. So, because in the beginning, you sort of were on the side of the females. But then, I don't know, the conversation took a whole twist that you were on the side of the males, and I felt like you were not favoring the females at all, at all, at all. Maybe you're trying to be logical. I don't know. Some things actually do make sense. But then others, I feel like, is you trying to be a guy?
Me trying to be a guy?
Yeah, because guys have this strong ego and they want to be, they want to feel like they dominate and all those stuff. But,
my way or the highway.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I think some of them have some.
All of them, not some of them.
Like the recent thing we just about.
Which one? Which one? The last meeting?
Yes, this last meeting.
What was that? First remind me.
When I was just about some guy who demands for respect and all those things, and you're like, oh, that's what the ideal woman should be like. Respect is actually a good thing for a woman to give to a man. I do not disagree with that. I just disagree with the way that particular guy was trying to put it out there.
He was demanding for it.
He
didn't earn it.
He didn't earn it. Like, I feel like respect should be earned, regardless of your age, whether you're young or you're old. It should be earned. And it's not automatic that because you're a male or you're an older person that I should give it to you.
I believe so as well. Kati, my question is, do you think all girls think like you do?
Objectively speaking, I know some of you will come for me. Objectively speaking, I think not all girls will have the same school of thought like me for various reasons, by the way. But me, most of the times, I want to be objective. But there are times when I feel like, today let me just be on the female side and, cause some violence and drama. A little bit. Me just be it spices things up. Yeah, but I think we need to be objective. Like both genders.
Do you need to be?
Like we have to be objective.
No, like do you need to be, you as the female species, do you need to be objective? Is it a requirement? Like
no, I think in this day and age, we should be objective. Like times have changed.
But is it like a natural thing that women have? Or they would rather prefer
no, I think
bask in their emotions.
Yeah, I think the most inherent, not like innate thing for a woman to do is get in touch with her emotions, which actually is a good thing. Imagine if we were not in touch with our emotions, you'd have two males in the house because the man will be like, that one doesn't have a point. Yet actually it does have a point, but maybe it's being clouded with all these emotions that the woman is portraying. But I think, yeah.
Which brings me to my other question, the one I had previously. Do you think women mature, I want to say intellectually, but that's not the right word, rationally? Like, is there an age they reach, then they stop developing rationally, then they just let the emotions take over, like, or they just continue developing until eventually?
I want to believe that both the emotional and rational exist. They coexist. But maybe because we are female, we have all these hormones, the emotional bit tends to overshadow the other one. But there's an age, yes, where you stop.
What's that age?
Being very emotional and you weigh things. You have that rational kind of thought. I think when you get it depends really. I think it depends. Others, it's circumstantial. Like circumstances like grow you up quickly. Maybe someone gave birth at the age of 19 and by 23 they're a single mom. They'll be emotional, yes, but they'll have a bit of logical kind of thinking.
Because now you have to
because now you have a child and you have to survive, and you can't really be playing that whole dramatic kind of thing. But I think it just comes back to an individual, that those who choose to have this rational thinking earlier, that those who will not choose to have it.
But generally speaking, like if you look at the girls
generally speaking, when I speak for myself, okay, not for myself, when I speak to, okay, like generally speaking, I think I've interacted with like 30-year-olds, and they seem to be more rational and logical in the way they think. They're a bit objective. Maybe you've gone through some kind of life stuff.
Why is it that demographic 30s?
I want to believe because you've seen more to life, like there's been more to life than just probably you've grown up, either you've been married before or not, or you have a job, or you have like obligations really. So you can't keep using emotions all the time. If you have,
could it be that at 30 your value has kind of dipped? Yeah? So you're not like, don't have the same pull like you used to have 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So now you're like forced to actually see the world as it is. Like, guys are not buying you drinks anymore. They're not asking you out.
Really?
So that forces you to like introspect, try to be objective about the world.
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I don't think so, because like I personally, I started to have like this logical thinking at a very tender age.
Which tender age? How old?
Tender age, like 15.
Because
I was an emancipated minor. So like I said, circumstantial. Like I became an emancipated minor, and
wait, emancipated minor? Yeah, no. Who is an emancipated minor?
Oh yeah, kula mangu embere mukuziza mangu. Yeah,
I'll have to grab that definition of the emancipated minor.
Yeah.
Continue.
But like katinga ola abana ababirange wakonyi, like during the war. Such a child will grow up quickly, they'll grow up quickly, and their way of thinking at 15 will not be the same as the other person. So for me, I started seeing life in a different lens. And yeah, there are times when I chose to be like, you know what, let me just be in touch with my emotions and have a little drama here and there, sometimes just to spice things up. But I think from that time till to date, yeah, I want to say I've been objective.
Like what about life do you see differently?
Yeah, I see life differently.
Like what aspects? Sex, relationships, money. You give me an example. Maybe I don't do this actually like this. The general thing people do.
Yeah.
Then since category emancipated minor, wakula mangu. So there are some things you'll be like, you need that. Like
anyway, I didn't. Okay, there's this thing that sometimes I keep thinking I didn't really have to. I didn't go through that whole teenage kind of phase of too much. I don't know. There's where teenagers can be your lover with boys and all those things. So for me, I didn't really get that chance to explore that part and be too much into it. Is it like,
was it the strict parents or you're just not interested?
I think a mix of both. Yeah, a mix of both at that time. And then there are those things that like for instance, I don't know, there's that phase where women are like, they have multiple people. And
which phase is that one?
Okay, I don't know, maybe if it's a phase, but like when I was growing up, I would see like, when I was like 19, 18, 17, you'd see girls around my age, like they have very many boyfriends and they take them out. And then they're like, oh, this guy gave me that, this guy gave me that. So actually to date, I keep saying, am I just horrible female or something? Okay, not really horrible per se, but maybe I'm not in touch with my feminine side enough to attract those things. But of course, right now, I don't think I would want that. I feel like it's too much drama. Even just having one relationship is too much. So I don't think I can handle.
Do you think you're in touch with your feminine side now?
Of late, yes.
What are some of the things feminine women do?
Femininity, like feminine women.
Regardless of age.
Just being a woman, like being a woman.
Yeah.
In touch with my emotions. Be girly.
Tell me those things. Tell me those
be girly. Like, I want to be all over the place, get the attention.
Okay, let me rephrase it in this manner. Say, two guys are in a relationship. Two guys.
They're gay.
Yeah, no. A man and a woman. So, like, what does the feminine look like? Then I'll explain what the masculine looks like. So, in your view, I want you to tell us what the feminine looks like in the context of a relationship.
Yeah, I think the feminine to me is more of being homely, like nurturing, like take care of the home, not in a bad way. I know there are people who are like, no, women are not supposed to be in the kitchen and all those things, but take care of the home because a home looks beautiful when there's a woman in it. It's tidy. Things are set right. Colors are chosen right. Like, just being that feminine side. I mean, if like me as a female, let me say maybe I am driving a car and if it breaks down, I don't necessarily have to like get out those spanners and get into that tire. No. As much as I could do that, I just don't have to because I'm a female. Definitely I can't. Of course I couldn't do that.
So this is assuming there's a guy present.
Yeah, there's a guy present. But even if there wasn't a guy, I think you could pay for those services if you can afford. And if you can't, you still figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So things like, you've mentioned keeping the house tidy, nurturing.
Do some cooking.
Are you sure?
I think they're nice things.
Sure? Nowadays, guys can cook.
Yeah, guys do cook, and I think I would love a man who cooks.
You would love a man who cooks. Yeah, because girls nowadays don't know how to cook. Or they've been infected by society that they should not cook for their men.
No, I don't think it's infection by society, but I think it's more of the times you've grown up in.
Times?
Yeah, that there are people who have grown up in homes whereby they have helps to. Yeah, they have so many people to help with the chores and all that stuff. So it becomes hard for such a person to be very interested in cooking.
Shouldn't it be a feeling that you need to cook for your man, like some sense of pride, like you've made these eggs, this omelette for your man, like an omelette guy.
Well,
shouldn't girls have that sense of want to please their men via like cooking? Or
I wouldn't say please the men per se, but I do want to believe that if you love someone, you do anything for them.
Yes.
For instance, I love love. Like, I want to be loved. I want to love. Yes. Like, I like just even knowing that
that's
I'm
a
in
very
love.
interesting statement you've just made. You love love.
Like, I love to be loved and I want to love someone, but the whole thing of that whole love thing of between me and the guy, like, I love that entire thing. So I definitely want to make someone's life easy. I believe, like, yeah, even if I don't know how to cook, I'll probably go on YouTube or something, pick up this recipe book and try out something.
So you love the feeling of loving someone and being loved by someone.
Yeah. And then it makes me, it prompts me to like do stuff for them.
Is that the same as loving someone for love's sake? Like not expecting anything? Are they different things or it's the same thing?
I think it's the same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it should be more unconditional.
What if you loved someone, but it's unrequited? Would you still like keep on loving them?
No, it becomes hard.
It becomes hard.
Yeah.
But you'll still do it.
Yeah, you would do it, but I know you can only do it for as long as you can. Eventually, it will break. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So would you cook for a woman?
Okay. I can't cook.
Wow.
I grew up around girls, and my mom never allowed me in the kitchen. So I'm not saying I don't want to cook, but I can't. I don't have the skills. But I plan on acquiring the skills sometime in the future. Not right now because I'm too busy trying to amass some resources. So I'm thinking maybe when I'm stable enough financially and I'm free to pursue my other interests, then I can go to a, what do they call it, culinary school? Yeah, and learn to cook.
So when will this be? That feels like it will be when you are
like a 10-year plan.
like in
10 years
when
years
you're
in
a
the
bit
future.
older and
Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
And of course it won't be like cooking like minor things. I'll be like chef
kind of
level.
cook.
Yeah, of course, because I don't like doing mediocre things. So when I'm learning to cook, I need to like learn everything about cooking, how to chop those things, the ingredients, like everything. It will become like a science plus some arts involved. So for me to enjoy that, I would need to be so free that I don't have other burdens on my shoulders. So that would allow me to pursue the interest bulungi.
But the guys who have a lot on their shoulders are still doing
that. Those were probably raised in an environment where they had to help around the kitchen. So the skills are already there. They're ingrained. Like I'm zero. The best I can do is boil rice and maybe fry some eggs. Like that. That's the best I can do.
Growing up, did your dad ever cook for you?
Yes, he did. I remember one time on Women's Day, there was some fancy machine he had, and he used to like what is it called? Minced meat. Yeah, there's some minced meat soup he made for us. I remember the first time he cooked. I remember him cooking, like he burnt the rice. So it was Women's Day. Oh, either Women's Day or my man's birthday. I don't remember. So I only remember 2 times when. No, not 2 times. Because he used to cook that minced meat thingy for us. It was like some kind of soup. I don't remember. But yeah, he used to cook.
How did that make you feel?
I was hungry most of the time, so so I didn't mind.
So you didn't really care.
I didn't care. I just remember that one time when he burnt the rice. So plus those other times he made the minced meat soup. And we used to like it because it was fancy. Like no one else could make it. We had never tasted anything like it in the neighborhood, so it was cool.
Well, me, my dad used to cook for us like some weekends, and I remember I used to enjoy. I don't know whether I was doing it out of spite or something, but I think because my mom would like do the chores most of the time when she's here and there, and occasionally when he would be around. Okay, not occasionally. It makes it seem like I was never there, but whenever he was around, because he used to work afar, and whenever he was around, he would cook for us. I think I enjoyed his cooks. And he didn't really know how to cook, but he learned on the job. So I am just surprised that you want to make a lot of resources, money, and all those things.
Yeah. At the moment, I do not enjoy cooking.
I know.
And for me to learn that skill, it would take time from the actual goal that I'm trying to pursue,
to
achieve. So I'd rather someone else who knows enough about cooking to like do that, and that would free up my mental capacity, faculty to do the thing that actually will benefit all of us.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe someday we shall digest that deeper. So by the way, speaking of which, what did you have in mind when I reached out to you to start this podcast?
The podcast thing?
Yeah.
Well,
because I know you initially had an idea, and at first we wanted to do it as an entire book club and things, and then I think it all went quiet. Then out of the blue, I just reached out and I'm like, hey, da, 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 da. So what came to you?
I've always had the interest of starting something like this.
Yeah.
So we tried it during COVID, me and a friend of mine. So that's still, it also went quiet because everyone got busy. There was not enough time to edit those audios. So we kind of paused. So when Frida started the book club thing, and according to how the conversations were going in the group, I was like, man, this would be so much better or so much fun if we actually had a podcast about these various topics that we keep discussing, because most of those guys are readers in the group. So everyone has like this knowledge. They have this knowledge about, I don't know, all those various topics. So I was like, if we are readers and we have all this knowledge and this experience and all these opinions, it would make sense if we actually sat down and just had conversations about it and record that, share with the world. So when you reached out, there was no what's the word? Okay, there was no thinking about it because it was something I just wanted to do, always wanted to do. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So did you think we have good chemistry for this?
Yes.
What makes you think it's a yes?
What makes me think?
Yeah.
Man, these are things you cannot articulate. You can't articulate these things. Like, it's a feeling.
So you also have feelings.
Yes, of course. Yes, I have feelings. Yeah. Although I tend to, I always forget these words. I tend to bottle them.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to bottle my feelings most of the time.
But do you think that's a good idea?
It depends on what kind of feelings you're bottling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there are some that really need to be bottled. Then there are others that will just, once they erupt, it's
there's no going back.
It's a whole for mess. Everyone. Yeah. So maybe what I should say is I should try to, because I always try to avoid conflict. So like I tend to have conversations in my head of how the conversation will actually go. So when I see that this won't go as well as, so I tend to like just avoid the entire thing. So maybe conflict resolution should be the word I should use. I should become more conflict. What's the word? I should. The word has gone.
It has vanished.
The word has gone.
So, how do you see this podcast growing? Do you think it's going to impact people? Like, what was your what goals or visions do you have for this podcast? The viewers, the listeners.
For the viewers, I believe I have a lot of ideas and opinions. Heavy on the opinions. I have so many opinions. Because I'm a reader and I have read a variety of books from multiple genres. So there are some dots I've connected, and I would like to share my views about the world, how I see the world, and hoping that would enlighten other people as well, or maybe even inspire. Yeah. So I'm huge on religion, sex, money, power, school. Oh my
Oh, you are a
goodness,
lover of
school.
education, by the
Yeah,
way.
education. Oh, I have so many opinions. So eventually, yeah, I would like to share those with the world. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the vision I have for this podcast. That eventually we shall have to like tackle those issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and enlighten some people.
Are there any personal for you?
Any personal
Like, maybe do you think this podcast would also impact you as well or something?
Oh yes, yes. I am shy.
So two shy people met and they are doing this.
Yes. So I'm hoping this will help my shyness and my fear of public speaking. And I have a problem articulating my thoughts. So I need to train my mind to slow down and actually say exactly the things that are in my mind, because my mind is so fast. So when I tend to speak, I tend to miss words or fumble or mumble, whatever the word is. So like things come out jumbled, like mono.
In the mind, they make a lot of sense, but then when they come out, they are
speaking like
they're different.
Yeah. So I need to sync my mouth with my mind.
Okay.
So I'm hoping by doing this regularly, I will eventually conquer that.
I think personally, I also have the same idea as you. I feel like I have so much experience, wisdom, like experiences to share with the world, which I believe could inspire people and motivate them. But then also, I also want to just challenge my perspective, because you can be there thinking, I got all this, I know this, I know that. But then when we have such a community and we are able to engage with each other, not just us giving them, but then also them giving to us. And I believe, it gives you like a different perspective on things, and maybe you're not just rigid and just doing your own things just because you think you know it all. Which makes us which I want to believe that we're not the gurus, by the way.
Are we not?
We're not like the final, but we shall just be sharing our own stuff.
Oh yeah.
But then also I feel like because I love to talk, I realized, okay, at first I never really used to believe that I talk too much.
What made you realize?
But then I realized I actually love to talk. Like when I find good people, like good vibes, right temperatures, like I can be able to speak. Sometimes in the beginning I'm a bit shy. Okay, I'm shy, but I just know how to mask it. But sometimes it comes out and I'm shaky a bit, and But then so I felt like it would be a good place for us to tell stories. Childhood memory stories, I don't know, adult stories, everything there. So which I believe is a good thing. I love to listen to stories. Yeah, like the podcasts you go to and you listen to something and you're like, wow, okay. Kumbe, everyone goes through something like this. So sometimes you can be there struggling and you're thinking, I think I'm alone. And you're scared. So, but when you hear someone maybe prominent saying something about it, and you're like, wow, okay, life actually does happen to everyone. And we are all in this all together.
Do you think I think you mentioned that this podcast might challenge your views and change some.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I do have some views and opinions.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they will sync.
Yeah. Some of your views are nice.
Like which ones? Which ones are not nice? Which ones are not nice?
No, you're right. Those relationship views.
Like which one?
Anyway, I think but I could try to understand in your mind. You're a male from are those guys called baby boomers? I don't know. Those guys of like They should be like so, they should be like 40 something, 50. I think they are baby boomers or something. Yeah, they're like from your. It's like your mind is from that generation.
What?
I feel like this generation, yes, they do have like a mix of all those other generations, but there's they're a bit liberal and like they don't over put it there. For lack of a better word, like demand for it. But it's surprising, like, okay, I don't want to say surprising, but I have a feeling what you preach. Sometimes I think it's to make the conversation,
Me, I always practice what I preach. Always. I try to. My mind would not allow me to say something that I do not do or don't believe in. That's why I stopped believing in God. Because like my mind could not reconcile fornicating and then going to church. Like the two don't mix.
But the Bible doesn't like allow people to fornicate.
Yeah, it does not, and that was one of the main reasons I never did until because I used to question the Bible a lot back in my early 20s, because in 2008 when I was in Form 1, I met a friend and he introduced me to the Jehovah's Witnesses. So they had like this library of books that I read. Then the books challenged my views on Catholicism. So I was like, maybe I should try these guys out. So for the next maybe 6 years, like I was a staunch Jehovah's Witness. And I stopped going to church. I was an altar boy. I stopped serving at the altar. So my mind was now indoctrinated in this other belief system. So in 2013, I think I did some introspection, and then I realized, by the way, like I was a very, very staunch Catholic, and then I did the 180, and now I'm a very staunch Jehovah's Witness. So I was like, how come? At one point I was this, and now I am this. Then I began thinking of other religions like the Muslims, the Mormons. And I was like, what if this whole thing is man-made? Maybe these are just rules someone wrote and we're just following. So
what makes you think they're just rules?
I believe they are. Like, I believe everything is man-made. Everything we read about the Bible and other holy books, I believe it was man-made, because actually it was the Jehovah's Witnesses books that I read that kind of flipped the switch in my mind, because they used to use the universe a lot, the universe, the cosmos, the stars, blah blah blah. So it kind of piqued my curiosity, and then I began looking into, because early in my childhood I used to love astronomy, but somehow somewhere I didn't lose the interest. It just never came up until I read those books, because they had illustrations of like the nebula, the other planets. So it kind of re-picked my interest again. So I was like, okay, now I began looking deep into astronomy, science. Then I began listening to YouTube talks, YouTube podcasts. Then eventually my doubt was so high. I was like, let me just pursue this thing Bolonji. So
the cosmos thing.
No, not the cosmos thing. This I had a war in my mind, like, because there's God and then there's no God. Like, so I was like, I'm trying, like this doesn't make sense. This kind of makes sense. So I tried. The goal was to reconcile, like, Salao, are you going to believe in God or not? So eventually, as the years passed by, yeah, I just came to a conclusion that there is no God.
But you were a staunch Catholic.
I was,
for
and that
very
was one
many
of the
years,
reasons
yeah.
I was like,
And,
there's no God, because all their arguments that they were making, I could like break them down and be like, this is what they believe. So I'll to do again that of video. Then I also look at the Jehovah's Witnesses. Why do they believe what they believe? And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Then I look at the Muslims. So rationally, I was like, okay, I think the best thing is to just get rid of all these belief systems.
So is there something you believe in? Because usually everyone has something they believe in. Like, do you believe in a supernatural, like a higher being or something like that?
No, I do not. I do not. I don't believe in anything. Does it sound weird?
Yeah, it does sound weird.
I don't believe in anything. I don't think there's a higher power.
Really?
I don't think there is. But of course, I don't have proof to say there is not. So if we ever find out that there's something out there, yeah, of course, then I would believe. But when we're truly right now, there's nothing to make me believe.
But you know, there's because me as a Christian, I do believe there is God, as much as there is no scientific proof, but I know there is God.
You know there is.
Yeah.
Is it because someone told you there is? Or why it's comforting to know that there's someone looking out for you?
No, for me, it's not because someone told me there is, but I think it's my personal experiences with Him, with God, like how my faith, like my personal experience with God, like the faith I have that He's there, He exists, that like those things that He has done to me. Is my evidence to say that there is God. Yeah. Because, for instance, like when I am sad, weary, and I listen to I read the Bible, listen to a worship song, I pray to this higher being, God, and yeah, He gives me comfort. I feel relieved. So I do believe, personally, there is. But then also historically, like, yeah, from the Bible.
The Bible is man-made. People wrote that thing. People wrote the Bible.
No, true.
That's what I think. Yes. And Kati, you mentioned like when you're weary, when you're down, things like that. Kati, so also when I'm weary and when I'm down. So I'm trying to, because in my view, in my experience, God has never intervened anywhere. Actually, some would say that when I got the boda accident and broke my hand, like that was God intervening. Actually, I look at that and like, no, I don't think so. So I do actually love worship songs. I love listening to Hillsong. Very nice music. So, but still, that does not in any way convince me that there is a God. I think it's a personal experience. Like, it's not something you can prove to someone.
Yeah, when you do experience Him like on a personal level, you actually do believe that He does exist. Because I have been a Christian for most of my life, but of course, growing up in a Christian household, doing things like as you're told, but then there's a bit of what happens if I don't do this. So that every time I try to stray a bit, I got issues. So I realized when So when I realized that every time I try to stray a bit, I get issues. So I had to just stick to this thing that I know. And for me, it's not because someone told me. Then maybe because someone told me, but then eventually I started having like personal experiences with God, and yeah, it confirmed my evidence that He does exist.
Isn't that a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I don't
Where you believe if you do something else will happen. So when you eventually do this thing and then this thing happens, you're like, by the way, this thing actually exists. Like this thing is.
No, I don't think so. Because even those who don't believe in God, he still shows up for them. He loves all of us the same by now. Yeah, he does.
In which way?
Now you say the boda accident.
Auntie. You can't provide that as an argument because there are other people who have actually died from.
Yeah, no, of course there are other people who have died from, but all I know is that supreme being really cares for everyone, like regardless of whether you believe in him or not. But eventually, someday you'll encounter him.
Someday.
Yes.
I have a question for you. Imagine you grew up in a peaceful, loving family, and these guys did not believe in any gods or any god, and you've now grown to say 2021. You're kind of you've matured mentally. Somehow you can think for yourself. Do you think you would have this? And then someone presented you with the Bible as is. Assuming you've like interacted with the world, you know about science, you know about the sun and the moon and the other planets, and then someone gave you this book and they told you this is exactly how the earth came into being, and there was this guy called Jesus, there was a talking snake. Do you think you would believe such stories?
For starters, human beings are naturally curious. So I would be curious to know what's in this book. Yes, like I said, even when I was a Christian, I was still curious to see what's out there, But I do believe that if I did experience what I'm experiencing now or what I have experienced with God now, I would still believe there is God.
You still believe?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because there are things that happen to you and you're like, for sure, this isn't me. It's not even nothing. Like, it's not anyone, but the supreme being. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I plan on raising my kids. Yeah. I don't want to indoctrinate them. I want to introduce them to science, introduce them to various religions. And if they ask questions, if I don't know the answer, I'm like, I don't know. Let us look it up. If they ask me, do I believe in God? I'd be like, no, I do not believe in God. If they say why, I give them reasons. So I kind of let them come to their own conclusion. So that's how I want to raise my kids, and that's how I wish everyone raised their kids.
But these kids are going to be having a mother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which mother I want to believe strongly believes in God.
Yeah, of course.
So don't you think they'll be confused a bit? In between knowing God and their dad not telling them.
I think it will be the best dynamic because they have like a believer and they have an unbeliever. So they have like both perspectives of the world. So it will then be up to them, like which side are they going to take? Are they going to take the godly side, or because I'm not a bad person, I'm not evil. So just because I don't believe in God doesn't mean I'm going to go around raping and killing people.
Yeah.
So then it would be up to them to decide.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there something you want to tell us?
Is there something I want to tell the audience?
Anything exciting, maybe about the podcast? I don't know what you have in store for them.
What I have in stock. This obviously was a getting our feet wet first episode. The next one I planned on coming with a book so I can like note down things, keep track of your thoughts, and then like follow up along you. So next time, of course, I'm going to be more prepared. I'm going to do research because I don't want to lie to people. I want to come with my facts ready. Hey, so watch out for the next episode. What else about the podcast? Eventually, we shall have some guests.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. I think we should
We shall plan along the way.
Yeah,
maybe
along
for
the way.
now we can first get the chemistry. Let us first bond properly,
Okay. Okay.
No, but but I do believe we shall have guests in the future, because we do not want this to just be all about just the two of us, but also there are very many people out there who have so much knowledge that will impact our viewers, our listeners, and which is actually a good thing. So, do you want him to follow us?
Closing remarks. Thanks for tuning in. Wilfred Majaliwa. I'm 30 years old. People never guess my age right. They think I'm younger, which is like flattering. I'm like, I think I'm 25. Okay.
Actually, I thought you are 27.
Still 27 is lower than 30. Yeah. I'm 30 years old. September baby. I'm a Libra. Introvert. I'm a Libra. I used to like astrology back in the day, so it kind of stuck. I'm currently working on lots of projects, and they are software related, so I'm mostly on my PC, but you can find me on Twitter. I forget my handle. I think it's Winds of Mercy. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Yes.
And then following us.
I don't like saying like and follow. I don't like those things, but I'll say it this one time. Like the video, share with our circles. I'm talking to you. Our circles, our circles. You share the video, subscribe, like, comment, because I'll most definitely reply to your comments. I'm that kind of guy. And tune out for the next episode, where we are going to be talking about money.
Yeah, money and mental health. We want to see
money and mental health. Mental health. How money impacts your mental health, or how your mental health impacts
the money. Vice versa. But I think that would be a great topic to
it's going to be a great one, because I'm in that phase where I'm now looking for money. So I'm going to have a lot to say.
We shall share our fails, our triumphs, everything in between.
That's all.
All right, thank you so much, our viewers, for listening and tuning in. Until next time, see you then. Bye.